Hello everyone, Andy Schwab here on your Northern Ag TV as I'm back in the studio finally after a couple weeks being on the road of helping out with auctions all over the country, and really want to give a big shout out to the Northern Ag crew for covering my home bases. Well, getting to our news, the annual American Farm Bureau Federation convention is wrapping up today in San Antonio, Texas. Our very own Colter Brown made his way to the convention to cover the topics being discussed for policy development and to celebrate the ag industry with those members of the Northern Ag Territory. Now, one celebration came to Montana Farm Bureau Federation after they were selected for the Horizon Award, which honors the most innovative new state Farm Bureau programs. AFBF President Cindy Johnson said Montana received the award for their May Membership Month promotional materials, which gave State Farm Bureau members creative ways to recruit new members.
It's a grassroots organization. It's a over the kitchen table kind of organization. It's the kind where you need to ask your neighbor to join. So you have to be able to inform them about the benefits of Farm Bureau, and going to the meetings, attending workshops, even at the state level, and the regular meetings that they have at the county level. Those are all opportunities for development for our members and opportunities for them to have more tools to do additional membershiping.
AFBF also captured 4 awards of excellence that recognizes state farm bureaus who demonstrated outstanding achievements in 4 program areas, being advocacy, coalitions and partnership, engagement and outreach, and leadership and business development. Well, MSU is just over a week away from hosting a Grasshopper webinar on February 6th. Titled A Guide to the New Era of Grasshoppers in the West, the webinar will cover the basic history of grasshoppers here in the West, including the pesticides and programs developed by state agencies, and they'll also talk about the most important grasshopper species in the West and what we need to know about them. Now, the presentation will also cover how we currently manage grasshoppers and the advantages and disadvantages of each of those management practices. Registration is free for that, but it is required to join for that Thursday webinar on February 6th at noon, and details can be found on our events calendar at northernag.net. And wrapping up, the USDA is going heavy on these cattle reports as of lately. Of course, that biannual cattle inventory report is set to be released on Friday afternoon around 1 p.m. and many are anticipating it to show the U.S. cattle herd has not started the rebuild phase quite yet. On top of that, the USDA released their latest cattle on feed report this past Friday, and it showed numbers of the cattle placed in the feedlots over December was much lower than anticipated. As a matter of fact, total placements in December were 1.64 million head, down 3% from a year ago, and actually 5% lower than those pre-report expectations. Now, when we come back from the break, we'll discuss how that helped out the cattle markets and what else we can be looking forward to there.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Welcome back. As cattle futures started the week with a lot of optimism following that bullish cattle on feed report. Unfortunately, though, some of the contracts of the feeder cattle were unable to hold on to the optimism throughout the trading session following those $5 to $8 gains last week. Packers did purchase over 82,000 head this past week in the negotiated cash cattle sales, with nearly 63,000 of them headed to the processor in less than 2 weeks. This continues to be the signal that packers are purchasing what they need to have just a little bit of stock left over in the freezer, and that's about it. Now, on the local auction front, producers are also looking to continue to build on their profits as the next generation of the herd, with some good prices being noted in Torrington on the replacement cows this past Friday. Believe it or not, short-term bred cows were less than $300 behind the running age mamas, with many producers knowing they can get a nice ROI after weaning. And grain markets continues Friday's lower trend to begin the new week, retesting some of those support points immediately to the lower side. Outside market influences was mixed, with equities trading both sides of the unchanged marks following a tech stock-driven sell-off to begin the week, while the U.S. dollar index also continues to slip lower, that is, back to the lowest level since mid-December, although they are still elevated compared to recent history. In the demand news on Monday, wheat export inspections for the week ending January 23rd, well, they were the strongest since mid-September at 17.8 million bushels, marking themselves 25% higher than last year's pace. Well, that's going to do it for our ag markets and ag news. I'm Andy Schwab. Have a great rest of your day.